back. I'm your host, Dave. The gentleman in the middle is Sam, and the gentleman to my right is Charlie. It's been a while, a couple of weeks here that we haven't been with you. We just want to say welcome back to the CSS podcast. And, we're looking forward to this edition. This is going to be the Major League Baseball trade deadline edition for our Cincinnati Reds, or lack of trades. We'll talk a little bit about that, and then we'll also have some stuff on the Bengals, training camp, etc. Those type of things here. I'm trying to get my microphone all situated here, and it's not really working very well. All right, so let's go ahead and we apologize to the FC Cincinnati fans, but they've been out and about of the MLS for a while. I know August 20th is the next MLS, and that's against Columbus. So, we probably won't have a whole lot of updates between now and then. Training camp is kicked off, so we will be talking a little bit about the Bengals and the rash of injuries and how, Burrow's injury is going to affect the team and him. And then we'll go into, Sam has a trivia question. We'll go into the Reds and then onto our topic of the week. So without further ado, let's get right into the Bengals news. Training camp week 1. We're starting week 2 now. Burrow, big news of the training camp. Avoided the rush, rolled out to his right, came up lame with a calf injury. He was looking forward to completing training camp without injury. That would have been his first one. But we're snake bitten here, unfortunately, or at least he's snake bitten. 3 straight years that he hasn't been able to go through a normal training camp. Thoughts on Burrow's injury?
Now we didn't know what their plan was, but I know amongst the 3 of us, we were hoping that he would get preseason game action. Which he didn't last year, to kind of help curtail a slow start. I can't imagine he's going to play now. I just can't see him. Even if he's ready to go, I can't see him risking it, which in my mind means there's another slow start coming. We opened Browns and then Baltimore. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
If we're 0-2, I wouldn't be surprised. That's just kind of the sense that I get. If he's not going to be a full participant all the way through. I hope that I'm wrong, but last year was a slow start. The year before that was kind of a slow start too. They were very similar. Burrow didn't have the preseason, didn't have a full off season. He had his off season by himself this year at least, but he's not going to have the training camp. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and it's all been, at least the last 2 years have been kind of, weird, out of the blue kind of things, from the appendectomy. Who the heck, what NFL quarterback has a freaking appendectomy right before the season, to a, this calf thing, which there might, again, I've not seen this or heard this, but with my eyes, I saw him. He was wearing a sleeve on his leg, so there must have been something beforehand. He must have, had some little feeling.
Yeah, he said
because he doesn't normally wear a sleeve.
No, he said he was like the day before he wore the sleeve the day before, and he said his calf was a little sore. So
yeah, there had to be something there. So
right.
So calf strains are can be tricky. Some people it's a couple weeks depending on the strain, and they're not going to tell us how bad the strain is. So, we'll figure it out based on how long he's out, because, it could be mild and he's back in 2 weeks. It could be, 6 weeks. You don't never know. Heck, Kevin Durant supposedly had a calf strain. Next thing you know, his Achilles had blown and he was out for a season. So, there's all kinds of, things that can spin from that. But I'd be worried exactly the same thing what Sam said about the slow start. I was hoping that, especially this year with 2 conference games, another slow start. Last year they had the bad one, and at least they weren't both conference teams. And they weren't the Steelers that were pretty bad early in the season. They lost to them, but I would, and this is not, I don't know, I'll do a quick prediction. If the Bengals lose those first 2 games, they will not win. They won't get home field advantage for the playoffs, and they need that. And they may not even win the division. I mean, we'll see how it goes, because I think the Ravens are going to be better this year as long as Lamar Jackson stays healthy all year. They're going to be obvious. I think that's pretty obvious. They're going to be better. The Browns can't be much worse. I mean, I hope they are. I hope they don't win a game all year just because the scumbag is their quarterback. And the Steelers, Tomlin works miracles every year. So
they're 500 no matter what.
They're going to have. They're at least going to be 9-8, guaranteed 9-8. And I think Pickett will be. I think he'll be a decent quarterback. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're better than 9-8 even by a game or two. So yeah, I hope they at least put that their offensive line out there, because that thing, that was the biggest mess from last year, was that offensive line the first couple games, the beginning of the season. So, it's not like they're coming back with the exact same 5 guys. I mean, they're trying to play a guy who's never played right tackle in his life, as an NFL starter all of a sudden. So I'm hoping that, at least that side of the line gets some preseason reps, and but that would be my hope. So if Burrow doesn't play, then at least the offensive line gets some reps in preseason.
Yeah, I think listening to Zach before, I think his media day before the first official training camp practice, he did say that they had some internal discussions about playing time during the preseason games, and he is not against it. And he thinks, based off of what happened the last couple of years, and with the, the 2 conference games to open up, I mean, you have to be ready. I mean, you can't go 0-2 in our conference. I mean, you just can't. So to start the season. So it's just one of those things now that, okay, is Burrow going to get enough reps with, the number ones to get the timing down and get comfortable behind that line? Or, is it going to be like he was against Pittsburgh and throwing 5 picks because, he's happy feet back there?
That was just 4 picks.
It was 5.
It was 4.
Was it? I thought he threw 5.
I think it was just 4.
Well, still.
Yeah.
Still. It was horrible. Week
but
one.
Big part of why it was horrible was TJ Watt was literally chasing him in every single play. So
right.
Myles Garrett I don't want to see the same thing happening. Myles Garrett chasing him around every single play. So
yeah.
And if Burrow doesn't play, then you probably won't see Higgins or Chase either, because it's not going to be that helpful for those guys to be getting passes from Jake Browning or whatever the other dude is, Simeon
and
Drew Platt or whatever that other guy, Drew Blitt or something his name is. So
yeah,
we have to have a guy, because he's a hometown guy. We have to bring him on to bring him back into the roster for a little while. So
somebody's got to throw passes at practice. So.
Yeah, but it has to be a hometown guy. That's something that back to whatever episode that was we did a while about annoying things in sports. There's an annoying Cincinnati thing in sports. Like, we make it a big deal because it's some hometown guy. If the hometown guy sucks, I don't want him on the team. So I don't care. I don't care that he's from Cincinnati. Give me some dude from Anchorage. If he's better, let him play.
All right. A couple of injuries. Besides Burrow, today, Travion Williams went down with a mild ankle sprain. They're going to do an MRI, X-rays on it to see, the severity of that. He could be out a couple of weeks. And then at the end of 11-on-11, Cam Taylor-Britt was seen limping off the field. So, there's a rash of injuries here this first week in training camp. I don't know. Do you think they're not getting enough, OTAs and stuff like that, or is it just a fluke? Just one of those things where, it cycles through. In the NFL, it seems like there's always 1 or 2 teams that, or in any sport really, that all of a sudden it's their year and they just have injury after injury after injury, almost like what happened to our offensive line, in the last 4 games of the regular season last year.
Yeah, I think that's more of what it is. I think the first week of training camp is you always are seeing injuries, whether, guys are just slightly out of shape, trying to work themselves back into shape, and they pull or tweak something. I think as long as you avoid the catastrophic injuries, you're okay, especially this early. As long as you avoid the Achilles and ACL, that kind of stuff, you can kind of work with the muscle issues, I think. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just, you're going to have injuries. You can't play a sport and not have injuries. It's football. You got in, any sport in their preseason, the guys are coming up lame and, having those, especially those muscle things. So, I don't think there's much you can do about it unless you literally don't have any preseason, like including training camp. Like the first time they're together is, they have meetings, and walkthroughs, and then they have a game, like a real game. So I think that'd be a way to avoid having a preseason injury. So, because you're going to have them. At least we're not the Broncos. Did you see that Broncos receiver? You talking about sad, man?
Yeah.
Two seasons in a row.
Hawkins, I think his name was
Tim Patrick.
Tim Patrick. Yeah.
Blowing his ACL and then blowing an Achilles. Like, oh my God, that dude needs to just play the lotto or something. $1 billion lotto. So you have stories around the NFL. Things are gonna happen. So.
All right. We'll move on to the topic here, which is the MLB trade deadline and the Reds. So there was when I wrote out the agenda, we were going to do it on Sunday, but some things came up and we couldn't do it Sunday. So we did it as a deadline show for us. And let's just go ahead and talk about the one trade that the Reds did do. Sam Moll coming from the A's for Boyle. Yeah, Joe Boyle, I think.
And some money.
So,
international signing.
Oh
money.
yeah, international signing bonus. So that's a big thing for the Reds. So that's important there. So, thoughts on that trade before we go into the next part?
I think it was the one type of trade that they absolutely had to make was to get another lefty reliever. All the other deals that I would have liked to see, another bullpen arm starter, were more kind of, I'd like to see them do that. I don't think that they absolutely needed to, but they absolutely needed to get another lefty. I don't know how they made it this far with just one lefty in their bullpen. I don't know how Alex Young is still out there pitching the way that he's been used so far.
And he's a waiver wire pickup too at that.
Yeah. So to be able to go out and get another lefty for, a prospect who's pretty much fallen off the radar at this point. He's been in the system for a little bit now. Everybody says he's got good stuff, but he can't command it worth anything. You think Ricky Carter's bad. Apparently this guy is even worse. So,
well, he is. I think he was, from one of the publications, he was a top 30 prospect. Like lower.
Right, but he used to be a top 10 prospect, and he's just kind of dropped.
Right, but when you get some prospects that we had,
you're going
to lower. You are going to drop a little bit. So, but
to me, that's not really giving up anything of consequence. Who knows? Maybe this guy will have a career, but I don't really care. The lefty's going to help us right now. And I think that was the most important piece that we need to get at the deadline.
Yeah, what I liked about the trade was, Moll is 31 years old, and he has, I think we got him
2027. 4 more years.
Yeah, 2027. Yeah. And then I think he has
team
an
control.
Option or team or something for 28.
Yeah.
Shoot, if he can be serviceable, for a couple of years, at least until 2025, right? Because I don't think he'll be on the roster in 2025, but who knows? I think
with these older relievers with all this control, it's a complete wild card how long they're going to last. This could just be his flash in the pan year, and then he can go back to having a 7 ERA next year. But for this year, I think he's going to help us.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Sam on that was their number one need, was the lefty reliever. I mean, Alex Young's arm could fall off at any point now. I mean, I saw a stat, what was it, yesterday maybe or day before, that the Reds have four of the five top
Yeah.
appearances in the majors, or at least the National League. So I mean that tells you right there. I wish they would have gotten more pitching though. I'm not happy enough with their starting staff. Really, their whole pitching rotation. I think it's some smoke and mirrors in there. The whole Luke Weaver thing. I mean, the whole Luke Weaver thing is just tells you how big of a joke it is. Like, he's got maybe the worst pitcher in the National League, and he wins every game. But his best start of the year, and he loses the game.
He loses.
So, I mean, that tells you everything there is to know about how pathetic that is. So, and I'm looking right now at Twitter and Facebook and some of the comments, whatever, and all these people are coming out and saying, well, I don't want to sacrifice the future, and giving up any high level prospects, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we didn't give up a high level prospect to get Sam Maul. That Joe Boyle is never going to be anything in the major leagues. I mean, no one even knows that is. He's not going to do anything in the major leagues. We don't have to give up high level prospects to get a mid-level starter. You didn't have to. I'm okay with some AA arm.
If you look at who the Orioles
never going to be seen again. So I'm also of the mindset that you don't choose when you get to contend.
Right.
You don't, next year they could have 50. I mean, every single player that we think is going to be so great could be injured. I mean, I hope it's not. But you never know. Who would have guessed the Padres, the Mets, the Yankees, and on are not a good chance ain't going to make the playoffs this year. Can't predict any sport, especially baseball. I think you can predict NFL a little bit more. I think you can predict NBA. The on is going to be there, but in baseball, I think it's a little bit more up in the air because of how the pitching and blah blah blah. So, I think they should have gone for it this year. Do I want to trade Noelvi Marte for a fifth starter? No, but would I trade Noelvi Marte for a number one starter? Sure. Noelvi Marte, he's not doing anything for the Reds right now. What's he doing for the Reds? What's his stats for the Reds? He hasn't hit one home run for the Reds. So,
and he won't this year.
Right.
I don't see him calling him up this year.
So I'm in the mindset when you get a chance, you go for it. And the Reds, as their normal nature is, they don't do that. So that's where I'm disappointed.
I mean, you've only got 8 spots on the field outside of pitcher, right? And I mean, we've called up several of our major prospects, but we still got 3 or 4 more. I mean, at some point you can't play everybody. So, I mean, kind of the whole point of stockpiling is to use them in trades. That's what the Orioles did. They called up their guys and then they sent out 2 for Flaherty. So, I mean,
right.
Did you, I don't know. I haven't seen, who did they trade for Flaherty? Has that come out yet?
I've got it right here. It was Drew Rom and Cesar Prieto.
Does it say where they're at in their prospect list?
It doesn't though. No.
I can try to look it up while you're talking, Dave.
Listening to Buster Olney on ESPN and their trade deadline, and they were talking about the Orioles, and one of the beat writers for MLB for basically their farm club writer, he said that the Orioles, they have the most top 100 prospects. And even if they were to, 2 of them are going to graduate off the prospect list. And even if they got rid of a few, they would still have the number one farm system.
Yeah.
I don't know. The thing that I don't like about ESPN and MLB, you said that they were bashing the Reds, but I don't think ESPN talked once about the Reds in the trade deadline, what they had to do or anything. When I was listening, and I was in and out of the room quite a bit, but it was all about the national, the American League East and the Dodgers, Padres.
That's all it ever is. Yeah.
And then it was Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, all those type of things, and it's just like, okay, why don't you say, hey, the Reds need to be in the market for Rodriguez or somebody like that? But they just
more. If you want to hear actual league coverage, you have MLB Network is which we can't watch because we
Right.
have YouTube TV. So,
Right. Exactly.
but yeah, MLB Network is ESPN's just going to talk about 5 teams, and it doesn't really matter.
No,
So
gets old.
So just
But,
to give a comparison, so you who did you say, Sam, was the 2 guys?
was infielder Cesar Prieto and left-hander Drew Rom.
Okay, so that's their 16th and 18th number. That's their 16th, 18th ranked prospect.
For a 3-4 starter.
And where would you consider Flaherty? A 3 to 4 starter?
3 to 4, yeah.
I mean, would I trade the 16th and 18th prospect for number 3 starter? Absolutely. I would drive them to the airport.
Who is that for the Reds?
I'll be pretty confident to say, and you guys can win money off me. I'll say it on right now. If Drew Rom or Cesar Prieto become an all-star, I will owe you guys something.
All right, it's here. We've got it down. So,
but if they don't, somebody owes me something. I am 100% confident those two guys are just going to be guys. So yeah, I'll look at the Reds and see what would have been.
All right, so that goes into our next the next question that I had on there on our agenda was
it's Ariel Almonte and Michael Ciani.
Yeah, Ciani can't even break the club. I mean,
yeah,
we have no outfielders, and
He's
batting
like 170.
Yeah,
and I've never even heard of Ariel Almonte. So
so neither.
I've heard of Almonte, because I thought
he's a single A outfielder.
Yeah, when the Almonte, I thought it was the Danny Almonte.
Danny Almonte.
Yeah.
But
this guy, Danny Almonte, might be this guy's grandpa. As old as Danny Almonte is now. So,
but the next question that we have is like, are we okay? One with our only trade. I mean, obviously, you guys think we should have done more, but it takes 2 to tango, right? And from the reports is like for the Verlander or for it wasn't Scherzer, because Scherzer wasn't going to. I mean, either one of those 2 guys weren't going to waive their no trades clause to come to Cincinnati, but Dylan Cease, right? I mean, he's very controllable, very young, and the White Sox, I mean, obviously didn't trade him because they felt like, he's young enough still that they can do a rebuild and he can still be a part of that rebuild. Now, rumor has it that, they wanted a haul for, and I don't know if I'm okay giving up 4 or 5 prospects, like top prospects for Dylan Cease. I don't think I am. Am I okay with where, I think the Reds, it's that reinforcement mentality with Hunter Green coming back, Lodolo coming back, Antone will be back, Gutierrez will be back in the bullpen as well. So
yeah, but you can't rely on Antone. That he could have another Tom John
right. You
first
can't.
pitch.
You can't,
but Gutierrez.
Yeah.
Yes, and then who's that? Casey.
He wasn't very good anyway, let
Casey
alone injured.
Linguini.
Yeah, right. That's what I want to rely on. He'll get us into the playoffs.
Yeah, but so I think I would like to have seen them go after, the 250-pound Rodriguez that Farr said, no way, he weighs more than that, but that's who we saw pitch when we went to the Tigers.
Detroit.
Yeah, Tigers game, but Dodgers were after him and he had a 10 team. Yep, he didn't want to go. No. So would he have said no to Cincinnati? And did they want too much? So
maybe I saw, I don't know how accurate this is, but I saw he didn't waive his clause to the Dodgers because of the taxes. So,
or the last time he was there as a Red Sox, right?
Yeah,
he got hammered and stuff. So here's our bullpen as it stands right now, right? Alex Diaz, Lucas Sims, Ian Chabot, Sam Moll, Alex Young, Buck Farmer, Derek Law, and Fernando Cruz.
It's not a bad bullpen, but they've been used so much. I think one or two of these guys are just going to break down. which is why I would have rather them went out and got another bullpen piece, a righty, than a starter. I think that would have been my preference.
Well, here's the thing, right? So when Green,
unless when Badolo comes back or when Green comes back, you push Lively to the pen.
That's you push. Well,
I mean, Weaver's gone as soon as one of them comes back.
Right, Weaver's going to be your.
But Lively's he's pitched well enough that I think he deserves to stay on the big league club.
Right. Yeah. And then, and then here's the other thing is, when you have Abbott, right, and Williamson innings.
Well, that's why they could have gone to a 6-man rotation.
Right. But I don't, if the Reds are in a playoff hunt, I don't think they shut down Abbott. I don't. I think they might skip him a couple of times, but I don't think they're going to shut him down.
Or you just kind of use him as an opener, give him 2-3 innings. I mean, instead of skipping him, I don't know. Skipping him to me could get him out of his groove. I don't like skipping guys in the rotation.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I just think that, you have to look at, going with Charlie's notion of, hey, it's sitting in front of us. We got to go and try to get it, right? Try to get into the playoffs. And if they make the playoffs, I don't think they're sitting Abbott, are they? I mean,
no, he's their first game pitcher.
Yeah, I would think
he's the first game of the playoff pitcher. You can't sit him.
Well, depending on how Green and Lodolo are when they come back. I mean,
I think it's still Abbott.
Well, again, depending on how. I mean, he's never pitched this much, so
right.
That's gonna. We still got 2 months left.
Yep.
So a lot of things to change in those 2 months.
He didn't have a very good outing last night.
Right.
But
I mean, that stuff's up in the air. Green, you don't know how those guys are going to be. I mean, Lodolo really hasn't pitched hardly at all this year.
5 starts or something like that?
Yeah, and the last few were terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ashcraft hasn't, Ashcraft, in terms of innings, he hasn't pitched 180 innings either. I mean, he's young. Lively, when's the last time he pitched a lot of innings? He hadn't even played for the last couple of years. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Weaver's the most experienced one in terms of innings.
Weaver.
My boy. Yeah, they would just pitch him every game. They would win every game, right? So, we win the World Series.
Throw him
out
a
record. They'd sweep with him starting all 4 games. So
only if Stu is on the team. Only if Stu.
Hey, they won. Want to know now that he's back.
I'm telling you.
In the lineup tonight.
That's right.
Oh yeah, they're facing Justin Steele. So
yes,
left hand.
Yes.
So here's a quote. This is on Facebook. See what you hear, how you react to it. Again, I just don't agree with the quote for beginning with, but I'll say my piece afterwards. I don't even agree with what's in the quote, let alone what it's trying to say. I'd rather lose the National League Central by game than deal a prospect like Noelvi Marte or CES. There is a much bigger picture here.
I saw that quote on Twitter too. Who was it?
It's actually Lance McAllister's dad. And he quoted it. Yeah. And then he sent that out to everybody to comment to it.
Yeah.
Rather lose the Central by a game than give up. I don't know. That, I mean, he is our best, prospect remaining, if you will. But I think you could have packaged him and got a legit number 1 who's going to be here next year too.
Well, let me ask you this with prospects and trading some of these guys, right? I mean, like you said earlier, we've got all these prospects, and yes, Nick Krall and the Reds want to do sustainability. So you've got to have those prospects, they all can't come up at the same time, right? I mean, they have to be like, 3 1 year, 3 another year, 3, so that you don't go to arbitration and go to their 6th year all at the same time and lose them all, because you're going to lose them all.
Well, that's what happened to the Royals. But guess what? The Royals won a World Series because they did it that way. You know who hasn't won a World Series doing it the inverse way?
Yep.
Tampa Bay Rays. Right. So I don't know. I think I'd rather be a
and the
Royals fan
Oakland
than a
A's
Rays
too,
fan.
right? Yeah,
Right,
So,
exactly.
but so here's the thing with Spencer Steer and David Bell. David Bell, when India went on the IL, and he made a comment that, yeah, Spencer might play some second base. And sure enough, last night he started at second base. And Spencer, that's his favorite position to play, he said, because I think that's what he was coming up. And then they moved him. And he said he just wants to be on the field. So he was moving around a lot. So, you look at the club, you've got Marte, you've got Cam Collier, who's a few years away. Arroyo, who might be the best glove out of them all. India still on the team. Spencer Steer. Where do these guys play? And
I think India's getting dealt now. I think, to me, everything that they did at this deadline, not trading prospects, they're going the Rays model. India's hitting arbitration. They got a guy they can slide over there. India's getting dealt.
But who do you slide? I guess that's where I was getting at. Who do you slide?
McLean will slide over there. And then Ellie will be at third, and Ellie will be at short, and Marte will be at third. Then Steer can kind of be the floater DH guy.
Yeah.
That's what I think. But with him getting, opportunities to play second, Steer, that is, like last night, right? Why not just move McLean to second, Ellie to short, and Steer playing third? But if that's what
I don't know why he did it, but
so I think Ellie is going to be your third baseman. And
then what? Steer at second,
or Marte goes to second, and McLean's at short.
Yeah,
or Marte in the outfield.
I would do it. I'm fine with it. I don't know that Marte can play the outfield. I don't know that.
He's been playing mostly third for Louisville.
Yeah.
So
I think if you were going to move anybody to the outfield, it would be McLean. I think he would be the one that gets moved.
I don't know. He can. Yes.
Because I don't think you move Ellie, and there's no reason to move somebody from there's no reason to move to try and play Steer at center. So I think McLean would have to be the guy, right? Because Marte probably can't play center. You're not moving Ellie to the outfield, so it would have to be McLean if you go that route.
Well, or you just leave Steer in left field, and you leave TJ Friedel in center.
Yeah, I'm not sold on Friedel though. I don't know that he's a long-term piece. I think you need an upgrade there.
Yeah, I do too. But
yeah, the Arroyo and those guys aren't even going to be here next year. The only one we're probably can deal with next year is Marte. In terms of unless somebody comes out of the blue or whatever and just
Marte and a couple of pitchers probably.
But from this worrying about the fielding, it's going to be figuring out how to work Marte in and CES. I get CES
he'll be a
first baseman.
Yeah, he'll be at first.
Yeah, him and Steer maybe.
And Ellie playing the infield. There is the Fernando Tatis model that's out there now. Now he was pretty shitty at shortstop.
Yeah, but he was
making a lot of errors and stuff. But we haven't seen Ellie play a lot of shortstop. They might stick him in there, and he's making an error every other game, and we would change our mind pretty quickly as to where I think that has to play itself out. But I would think at the beginning of the year, it's what Sam said. It would be CES, McLean, Ellie, and Marte, or Steer, depending on if Marte's up at the beginning of the year, kind of thing. And then you just kind of let it play out from there. They have those options. But back to that one quote that my comment on it was simply, we didn't trade anybody. We don't need to trade. What about I'm not even, it's not Marte and CS. I'm not even, that's not even in consideration. What about Arroyo? What about guys at single A? What about Carlos Jorge, who's been going up the list? That's my issue is we don't need to trade those guys to get a fourth starter or something.
Right.
We can look at the lower levels and try to get some of these guys. So, all these comments are all about, well, I don't want to give up Marte. Okay, don't give up Marte. There's 50,000 other people in the minor leagues, that
give up Rhys Hines, who's kind of rebounded.
And
I think
so that's my issue with everybody jumps right away to thinking of the top prospects. I would give up the number 10 prospect to get a third starter. It's just that's the guy that's going to help you in the next couple of years. So
Right.
that's where my issue was with the quote itself.
All right, so I guess I think we're all in unison that we probably could have and should have done a little more to solidify, our quest for the NL Central. Now, I had on here before it happened was a question, should David Bell get an extension? Well, he got an extension, 3 years. What are your thoughts on that? Is he the right guy to lead this team? Have we seen enough of David Bell? And if we have, who? I mean,
I don't know anymore. I really don't. Because all the players seem to love him, right? Like it's the Zach Taylor thing. The guys love playing for him, and the COVID year was technically a winning season. 2021 was technically a winning season, even though they faltered there at the end. I still don't think he can handle a pitching staff. Part of that is he's never had a proper pitching staff to be able to handle. As far as the bullpen goes, he's never had legit options. I mean, outside of 2020, they started shipping guys at 21, and so I don't know. I don't know. That's all. That's really all I have for it. Is I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. So,
yeah, I mean,
because it could be a whole lot worse, but I feel like it could still be better. But
Brian Price worse.
Yeah,
well,
exactly. Yeah.
Well, the issue, I mean, part of it with Bell for me is that he really hasn't had a lot of talent. He's never, until this year, he's never with whatever level of talent you would consider he's had, he's never made them better. Like they haven't overachieved. That's the word I'm looking for. So the Trevor Bauer year, that team I think was better than they were. Like the record they played out, then they got absolutely.
If it would have been a full season, that's a 95
absolutely
win
ball socked in the playoffs. They didn't even score a run. Like that was bad. That was Bell. Bell did not do a good job in that thing. So that's kind of the way I look at it. Did a team overachieve when you were a manager? Because at some point you should overachieve. Because this year, would you consider the Reds overachieving? Probably. So I got to give Bell credit for them overachieving now. If I use that as a thing. So, and Sam's right. I mean, the players all seem to like him. I mean, now if a player said he didn't like him, would that actually get put out in the news? Probably not. I mean, the Reds beat writers not exactly the most the most probing for negative or critical information. I mean, they're pretty we're not New York or Philadelphia here. So we'll see. I mean, I think this year how it plays out will be telling. He can't say he doesn't have talent anymore. I mean, moving in the next year, can't say we don't have the base there. That's never cannot be an excuse. All these Reds excuse makers too, fans excuse makers. They need to go sit down too. So it's all about the Reds going to next year should be like the Bengals, almost maybe not almost last year or the year before. I mean they're beyond. They're moved into Joe Burrow's second year kind of thing now at this point. They have the talent. They're playing the way they that's kind of the new baseball with the rules and all that stuff. They're achieving. Zach Taylor's grown on me over the last few years. I mean, I know a lot with Zach Taylor, and he gets kind of the downgrade because it's Joe Burrow. We all know that's the number one reason why the Bengals are better than they are. But I think Zach Taylor also gets no credit. I was actually I thought of this today. I was listening to something and they were talking about. So I think the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator is supposed to be like the next boy genius or something. And he's, some analyst came on and said he's going to be the next head coach. It's like he just fell out of the Rams coach. Why am I drawing a blank on the Rams coach? McVay, the McVay tree, but he didn't come out of the McVay tree. So they were making a big deal out of that. And I'm like, Zach Taylor actually came out of the McVay tree and he never gets talked about. I mean, as a head coach, if you take the Bengals to the Super Bowl, you should get really serious consideration to be the coach of the year. And was he like 6th or 7th in terms of the voting for that?
Yep.
So,
and he's not even ranked in the top 10, right?
And I know it's the Joe Burrow effect, or I think it's the Joe Burrow effect there, but I think he definitely gets, and I've given him enough grief too over these last few years, but I have to, I've come around on him as well. Now, if he doesn't play any offensive linemen in the preseason, I'm not going to be happy about that. And he's starting offensive lineman. I don't need the bus driver from Finneytown to be starting the 4th preseason game. But, so I don't know. I'll give David Bell. I guess I need to step back and give him the benefit of the doubt a little bit too.
Right. The lighter, more gentle side of Crawley. He's getting ready for school. That's why, he's
now if they're 70 and 92 next year, then it's all off again. So,
yeah. So, we are 3 games away from the Reds having won 62 games this year. Their total from last year. So, Sam, I think, I don't think you're going to, win that prediction. So
no, I don't think so.
I hope none of us win our predictions, because even your prediction wasn't much better than mine. That would be a horrible season after where they're at now. So,
well, I mean, who would have known? I mean, that Stuart Fairchild was the lucky rabbit's foot for him. So all right, let's go ahead and move into. Let's talk real quick about the Dodgers, Milwaukee, and the Cubs. The only thing I can say about the Milwaukee series is thank God we're done with them. For some reason, it's like the Steelers, and it's like we just cannot beat them consistently this year. So I don't, they have great pitching, but their hitting's horrible, except for when they play the Reds, and it seems like they always come up with.
They've lost 4 straight now.
Yeah, I mean
they're under 500 against everybody else except for the Reds now.
Yeah. So,
so
I mean, it's done. We don't have to play them anymore. The Cubs are on a tear, or they were on a tear, but they played the Pirates and the Cardinals. Sort of like what we played the Brewers. Like 9 times coming out of break. So yeah, they're going to. Inflate their winning, and they played the Reds and they lost. So hopefully they go 0-2 tonight. But I mean, it's Milwaukee. It is what it is. The Dodgers, first time since 2012, I think it was, that we took the series from LA, which is impressive. 4-2. And, could have been 5-1 if Weaver never gave up 2 home runs.
If he'd have sucked, the Reds would have put up more than 2 runs.
Exactly. I mean,
he would have given up his normal 8 runs.
Right. We would have scored 9 or 10, but he pitched great too. It is what it is. But thoughts on the Dodger series and looking at the Cubs here, this series here, what do we need to do? And, we've got our righty heavy lineup in with Newman and Senzel. So.
Yeah. I mean, I was impressed by the Dodger series. We don't go to, what did you say? When was the last time
I
went
think
to
2012,
LA?
I think.
And, and close to winning all 3 and winning the 3rd game 9-0. I mean, usually those, anytime we win those games, it's like the first game, nail biter, or like last night's Cubs game, which, oh God, those kind of games. So to go and win in that fashion too was impressive. Cubs. Yeah. I mean, I said it before last night, they get a split minimally. They had to get need to get a split just to, keep pace, because the Cubs got to win more than the Reds over the rest of the season. So if you get a split, then you take that took that care of it. Now they got now maybe 3 out of 4. But getting that first game was huge. Especially with the bullpen having to pitch as much as they did last night and coming through. I think they only gave up 1 run. Diaz looked sharper last night for that.
He did,
and he has recently.
9 pitches, 9 pitches to get 3 outs.
That was like the first month Diaz kind of thing. So
yeah, That's what
But,
we needed.
But yeah, they're pitching. Cubs have their pitching is good. I mean, that's why they're still in it. I mean, until that Dodgers 9-0 game, the Reds still were minus in the run differential, and now they're plus over that. But the Cubs have been plus all year basically. I think they're plus like 40 or 50 or something, all because of they don't give up a lot of runs.
Right.
So yeah, they're going to have to hit. And I don't even want to talk about the Brewers series. So.
Yeah. All right. We'll go ahead and into our top performers of this past week. Pitchers and hitters. Who do you guys have?
I don't know. I almost want to say Weaver for his Dodgers start, but I don't think I can.
I mean, can.
I was going to say Abbott, but yesterday's performance wasn't great. But I don't know. We usually do the pod on Sundays, so I'm going to ignore that, and I'm just going to say Abbott. So.
Yeah. Reluctantly, I'll say Weaver, but less reluctantly, I'm going to give props to Ashcraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did have a good game against the Dodgers.
I think he's got less than a 2 ERA over the last 5 or 6 starts, something like that. So, if he can continue doing that, I mean, Ashcraft to me is kind of a big wild card. I mean, Green's going to be solid or solid enough. I'm not confident. Have not been confident this year that Ashcraft should even be a starter. He shouldn't be one of the top 5 looking in the next year, maybe a long reliever or something, or hell, maybe even the closer, a setup guy, type thing. But I mean, if you can go sub 2 an extended period of time, and he did at the beginning of the year too, it's just whatever reason this, he's at a peak, and he's at a massive valley, and now he's at a peak again. So
they were saying on the broadcast, he felt like he was trying to strike guys out too much instead of pitching. He felt like he was trying to throw 97, 98 instead of 94, 95 and just getting guys out. So I can't remember if at the beginning of the year, but since he got off the IL, he's been working exclusively out of the stretch. He hasn't gone into his windup at all. So I don't know. I can't remember if he was doing that at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, he was doing that at the beginning of the year. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's that modified stretch where he steps to the side, not
he's not. One. He hasn't even been doing that.
He has. Oh well, we'll see the next start.
Well, just to give you enough, I mean, I just pulled up the stats for the last 30 days, and Ashcraft is a 1.84 ERA. That's 5 starts. Brandon Williamson's been a 2.18.
Yeah, I know.
ERA in 4 starts. Weaver 6.33, of course.
Hey, that's
down.
That's better than that 9-10.
Yeah, great.
So
that's great. Abbott 3.9 ERA over the last 30 days.
Yep.
So I mean, if you get Brandon Williamson into the mix too, which they got more options they have for next year, the better.
Exactly.
Or even continuing to forward. I mean, so.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, I was going to go with Brandon Williamson just because of his steadiness there the last couple of starts. I think he's turning the corner a little bit, figuring some things out, and that's always exciting to see your young players doing that. So hitting wise, I mean, I don't know. I mean, really, LA had the one good game in LA, but he's got to cut down his strikeouts.
Well, he's not a leadoff.
No, he's not. Yeah. He's not.
He's got to get out of that spot. I don't like him in the leadoff spot. Because I mean, a leadoff hitter, you can't be swinging at ball 4 on a 3-0 pitch. I mean,
right.
That's wild to me that would even be an option.
I guess that's still
through your mind.
Yeah. That's still my number one Bell criticism is just the lack of sense when it comes to the batting order. It's like when he puts somebody in, he just will not move them. it's like he won't admit defeat or something because he thought he was boy genius or something, and came up with this great idea to put Ellie De La Cruz in the leadoff. Same thing with India. I mean, how long do you leave India in the third spot?
Yep.
So it's that same thing over and over. And
I think India needs to move back to the leadoff spot.
Yeah,
I
I
do too.
try him there.
He's
and
our
De La
best
Cruz
leadoff
needs to go
hitter.
back to the 4 spot where he was successful, more successful.
Right.
And I'd drop Friedel down in the lineup too and have Steer hit second.
I would have. Well, I mean McLean.
to me,
McLean hits second or third, right? I mean, he's doing great.
He's going to hit. He's hit wherever
he's going to hit, right? But I liked him at second, and then it was Steer batting third, Ellie batting fourth. I mean,
I'd be fine with that too. Yeah.
And then Rake batting fifth. But the problem is, we can't put 2 left-handers back to back, him and Votto. Ooh,
then hit Votto seventh and put CES sixth.
Yeah. But then you've got Votto, Friedel then. Ooh, back-to-back lefties. And Lord knows. Benson.
Last.
And then you got Benson in there.
Benson
Ooh, 3 left-handers in a row? No way. 7, 8, 9.
Bat 9.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
no, he's been batting 8th now here lately.
Only when Luke Maley starts.
Yeah, only when Maley starts.
I mean, only when the guy down the street they put in the batting order.
Your hometown boy.
Are they willing to move? Yeah, that hometown boy, exactly. Are they willing to move Will Benson out? Yeah, exactly. You just said it. Because he's a hometown boy. We gotta love him. But yeah, that's the only time he's gonna bat out of the 9 hole. If you base it on stats, based on this last week, is Joey Votto. He has the best average.
Yeah, I saw that
over the last week. He's got a home run, 4 RBIs, which is tied with Fraley for the team lead. So, based on that, it's Votto.
He loves hitting in Dodger Stadium, and he also likes hitting in Chicago. So we'll see how that goes. He's not in the lineup tonight, so.
Because he can't bat a left-hander against a left-hander.
Well,
Votto's got like 1 hit on the year against lefties.
Yeah. So.
He's been
Hang on one
bad.
second.
All right. Okay. Worst performer of the week? Anybody who we want to get rid of? And
I mean, still want to get rid of Weaver.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Sent Duarte down already.
Yeah, that's to make room for Maul. So
for Maul, yeah. I don't know. Lineup. Benson could probably use a couple of days. He's been in a pretty big slump. I'm not ready to send him down, but maybe sit him on the bench here.
We've got
Chicago series. But.
Stewart. Stu's playing for him today, so that gives him a little break.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Well, and then when Casal comes back, just cut him.
But, yeah.
I mean, Senzel hardly plays. I guess he's only can play against, left-handers.
Lefties,
and then just have him face a lot of left-handers.
No.
Lucas Sims has made me pull a little hair left out of my head out. I mean, he's been bad.
He is.
I mean, he can't throw a strike. I screamed at the TV a few times last night about him.
Yeah.
Just throw a freaking strike. And then Jeff Brantley, who I wish was our pitching coach sometimes, or should be a pitching coach somewhere. He said it within seconds of what he said. He said that he's lost his confidence in his fastball. He won't throw his fastball anymore. He just keeps throwing that breaking ball and can't throw it. He's not consistently getting strikes. And then the next guy up, he threw 2 fastballs and got strikes on it, and that was it. From then on, he was okay.
Yeah,
it's like you're a freaking late inning reliever. You got to be able to throw a fastball. I mean,
can you
Ian Jabot's even throwing fastballs. So
yeah, can you imagine Brantley walking out to the mound? Hey, son, let me tell you something here. I want you to throw 3 fastballs across the plate because I got to go back and get me a bucket of chicken. So, but no, we love the Cowboy, and he would make a very good pitching coach. So,
speaking of coaches, I think the mayor's coaching stint is going to be pretty short-lived. I mean, the Yankees are not exactly turning on fire over the last.
Yeah, I think Boone's gone.
Yeah, Boone is. If they don't make the playoffs, I think Boone.
I think even if they make the playoffs, I think they've got to make the World Series. And
well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, they can't
I think
go.
he's gone.
Yeah, because Case, he'll be back on the pod circuit here.
Right. At about what's the last game?
October 8th or something like
1st
that.
or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
so,
Him and Chintz will be right back doing their thing. But he'll have a lot of stories to tell, some more stories.
Right, I'm
so
sure
that's-
something crazy happened.
Yep, exactly. Okay. All right, we're gonna segue now into the trivia. So, son, you've got the trivia this week, and it's been so long that I can't remember the trivia that I had. Let me see. I think I might have taken a picture of it. I'm not 100% sure. So I apologize to all you out there that are, hanging on your seats, wanting to know the answer to the trivia. Let's see. Was it the scoreboard stumper? 4 active major league players have appeared in 2,000 or more games in their career. Was that one? I think it might have been.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. So it was 4 active major league players have appeared in 2,000 or more games in their career. Who are they? Joey Votto, Elvis
Andrews. Oh yeah, 'cause that's the one we couldn't get.
That's the one you guys couldn't get. Nelson Cruz and Miguel Cabrera.
For some reason I thought you were going to say Elvis Gerbach. That was like name popped in my head. So
Elvis Gerbach, Michigan alum.
I think he played for the 49ers. I think he played for the 49ers too.
Yep. And I think he played for Baltimore, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So, but all right, go ahead, Sam.
All right. So my trivia here is there are 9 Power 5 schools that do not have the city or state that they reside in their name.
Well, I saw that.
Yeah, they said 8, but it's 9.
8.
The question
I saw it
is
as well,
8,
but I did not look at the
9.
answer or try to answer it.
So the ACC, there's 2.
There's 2, yes.
So that's Wake Forest and Duke.
Yes.
Big Ten, they said they're.
The question is, say the question again.
So there are 9 Power 5 schools that do not have the city or state that they reside in their name.
Okay, it's like Ohio State.
But they also they gave you like 3 from the Big Ten, I think.
Right. So there were 2 from the ACC, 2 from the Big 12, 3 from the Big 10, 1 from the Pac-12, 1 from the SEC.
All right,
Carl. You didn't look at the answer, Dave?
No, I was coming up with them, with on my, because I was going through it. I saw it earlier. I didn't check the answer. I was just going through it because I was like going, okay, I got one of the Big 12, which is Baylor, but I can't.
How many Big 12 are there?
Oh,
2.
is it BYU now?
BYU.
Since BYU came in, yeah. And then the Big 10's 3, Purdue's 1, Rutgers.
Yep.
Is 2. Oh, Northwestern is the 3rd.
Northwestern is 3. Yep.
And then the SEC is 1. You said
1. Yep.
Oh. Got it, Crawley?
No, I don't. I'm running through my SEC schools in my head, and I haven't hit it yet. So.
I got it. I'll let you go a little bit here. It's you got to think lower level SEC. I mean, way low SEC.
Oh, Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
And then the Pac has 1.
Right, and this is where I think there was a discrepancy because some people said Stanford, which I always thought was in Palo Alto, right? Some people were, and some people were saying, well, no, it's in Stanford, California. I'm like, sort of like Notre Dame, Indiana, right?
Right. It's that if you
unincorporated,
Ohio, it's
right.
Cincinnati, right?
Yeah. So
Stanford, which is Palo Alto.
Yeah. Is that all of them?
Yep, that's all of them.
All right. We did good. Woo woo. All right. So now we'll head on over to the topic of the week. And I think Sam has that as well.
Yeah. So basically, it's just going to be blind rankings. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's kind of popular on social media now where I'll give you the topic and you'll rank them, but you're not going to know the list before you rank them. So I'm going to give you one name at a time. You're going to have to slot them 1 through 5. So it's kind of like a blind ranking. So it's kind of, do you want to keep your number 1 open? Kind of thing. I think they're pretty fun to do.
So we're going to rank them, but not have all the information as we're ranking them.
Correct. Okay. Yes. Not really going to be keeping score. It's just kind of fun to do. So, yep. So my first one that I have are current Reds players moving forward that you would build around, not named Ellie De La Cruz. So Ellie De La Cruz will not be one of your options. So Spencer Steer is the first one.
And our ranking is 1 to 5.
1 to 5. Yep.
I'd go 5.
5. Crawley?
I'll go 4.
4. Probably should write these down so you guys know what's your that'd be a good idea. A piece of paper real quick.
All right. So I got Steer at 5.
All right. So Dad, you had him 5. Carly, you had him 4.
This is where we need a producer. You could have just
well, I was kind of counting on that. So
as he's spelling Steer, STEER, Steer.
All right, and the next one is Andrew Abbott.
I'll go 3.
3.
I'll say 2.
2. Matt McClain.
I'll put him 1.
Yeah, I'll go 1 as well.
Go 1 also. Hunter Green.
Oh.
I'll
go 2 for me. I think I only have 2 and 5 left, so Green's got to be better than 5.
So I've got 3 or 4. So he's 3.
He's 3.
Yeah, he's 3. Yep.
And so number 4 for you, Dad, will be Alexis Diaz, and Crawley, who will slot into your 5 spot.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that actually.
Yeah. So yeah. And Crawley, yours probably would have been how you ranked them if you knew the order.
I love Diaz, but closers you can get them. Relievers.
Yep.
So.
Jesus, pen sucks. Next one is going to be mid-tier quarterbacks. Mid-tier according to me.
Mid-tier.
Yep, you're going to rank your top 5 mid-tier quarterbacks.
Are we talking?
So in 1999, Elvis Grbac would have been on this.
No,
list.
current quarterbacks. Current quarterbacks.
NFL quarterbacks, I take it?
Yes, NFL.
Not college? Okay.
Yep.
Current.
First one
Mid-tier.
is Dak Prescott.
Woo. Mercy.
Yeah, without knowing who else. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the question is, what's going to be considered mid-tier?
Right.
It's according to me.
Right. I know. That's yeah.
I'm going to go right down the middle of the road. I'm going to go 3. So
Put Prescott in your 3.
now put Dak at 3. Just because I don't know what's coming.
I would say 3 as well, but just to be different, I'll say 4.
Say 4.
But if he wouldn't have said 3, I would have said 3.
I would have said 3, even if you would have said 3, Carly. So
Yeah, I want to be different, so I'm going to
all
go
right,
4.
yes.
Next quarterback is Daniel Jones.
Ooh, versus Dak Prescott.
Daniel
I'm gonna
Jones.
go. God, that means I hope the guys next are better because I'm going 5 for him because he's not better than Dak Prescott. I don't think so.
No, I don't know. He won a playoff game.
He did.
Tim Tebow won a playoff game.
Yes, he did. Gosh, because
And somehow Andy Dalton still didn't. So
I'm just trying to think who else is in the league that is. I'll go for Daniel Jones.
4.
I mean, yeah, just because. Yeah, there's got to be
Next
somebody worse than
guy.
Daniel Jones.
Next guy, quintessential mid-tier quarterback, Kirk Cousins.
That's where.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that because he's better than Dak.
Yeah.
I'll put him at 2.
2
for me.
That's where I'm going because it's either 1, 2, or 5. So
yeah, all I have left is 1, 2, and 3. So I'll go 2.
Yeah.
All right, next
number
one,
one.
Tua Tagovailoa.
I'll put him 1.
That's
I'm safer with him with 1 than what other bum you throw out next. So I'm sure. So
mid-tier.
Yeah, mid-tier.
I'll put 2 of 1.
So it's either 1 or 5 for me.
1
right?
or 5 for you. Yeah.
Oh, you got the extreme. At least I had 1 or 3. So.
I'm going 5 just because
I put him 5. I put him 1.
He's one head injury away from being a low tier.
Well, he's one head injury away from being maybe in the dead, maybe dead.
We've got Geno Smith coming up next. I got a feeling maybe
that's
Geno
exactly who it is. It's
Geno Smith. Okay. There you go.
He's my number 1.
He's my number 3.
Your number 1. He's your number 3.
I'm actually kind of happy with that too.
Yeah,
I think. Because what's mine, Sam? I'm not writing it down, so I don't even know.
So you went Tua, Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith, Dak Prescott, Daniel Jones. Dad,
good.
You went Geno, Kirk Cousins, Dak, Daniel Jones, Tua.
I'd probably switch Dak and Geno if I had to do it, but that might be my only change. So.
Yeah, I probably would have moved Tua up the ladder a little bit, and Daniel Jones down, but yeah. But hey.
All right. Your next one are MLB ballparks, just in terms of looks, kind of how you would rate them. First one, Busch Stadium.
Tough without being there. Well, that's St. Louis. That's 5.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You're going 5 too?
Oh yeah. I would go 6.
yeah.
All right.
Can we just not put it on the list?
Yeah.
Unrated.
Put a blank spot. Yeah. I've got T-Mobile Park next. T-Mobile.
Plays
Seattle.
there?
Seattle.
I've been there. It's okay.
I'll go 4.
4.
I'll go 3.
Next one, my least favorite, Fenway.
I've never been there, so it's tough for me.
Oh, so I got 1, 2, and
1, 2.
No, I got 1, 2. I got 1, 2, 3. I'll go 3.
3.
And I got 1, 2, 4.
Yep.
Well, if it's anything like Wrigley, it should be low because it's a dump. But since I haven't been there, then it would be just to go say I was at one time. I was at Fenway to watch a game. I'm gonna put it 2.
Put it 2.
Yeah.
See, I'd have put it below Busch. So that's just.
That's because you had mono when we went there, and you were miserable. So.
And I'm not 5'3". So.
Well, but.
Next one, GABP, Great American.
Not a bad seat in the house. So what do I have? I have 1.
You have 1 and 2.
4.
I'll say 2.
2.
Yeah.
I'll put it 1. I liked it better than Seattle, and that's my only thing to compare right now. So.
Without knowing what number 1 is.
Correct. Yeah. Without knowing the last one. Yeah.
Final one is PNC Park, Pittsburgh.
Say Pittsburgh. I like Pittsburgh. That's one. I like
Yeah.
that one. That is a beautiful ballpark.
I have to put a 4 because I
You
don't
gotta put a
have
4, yeah.
That's my only spot. I haven't been there. So
Yeah, so Dad, you went PNC, Great American, Fenway, T-Mobile, Bush. Crawley, you did
that's a good one.
GABP, Fenway, T-Mobile, PNC, Bush. All right, I've got 2 more.
All right.
All right, this one is all Bengals receivers.
Oh,
Completely random. You don't know who's coming. I've got Pickens as your first one.
Woo.
yeah, it all depends on what the next guys are.
Yeah,
Pickens
exactly.
is good. I mean,
He was
It's the-
good.
scumbag, but he was a good receiver. I'll go 3 just to play it down the middle.
All right. I got to be different. I'll go 4 just to be different.
4. Next guy, TJ Hushmanzada.
Is he better than Pickens? TJ had more to work with.
What, Shaking Blake? Come on now.
Exactly.
Klingler?
I'll put Hushman's out of 4.
So I'll go 5.
5.
Yep.
Next one, Jamar Chase.
I go 2. That means you're gonna have to say there's not a lot. I'm gonna have to go 1 because I just there's not many that are gonna be better than him, and so I'm gonna go 1.
I'll go 2.
2. AJ Green.
2.
2.
He'll be 3.
3. So that means your number 1, Dad, is Ocho Cinco.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Crawley, he slots into your 5.
Number 5.
Number 5, Joe Stinko. Yep. So,
All right. So this next one I called borderline / non-consensus future Hall of Famers for Major League Baseball. So they depends on who you ask, kind of
Right.
thing.
so like Joey Votto, huh?
I assume he's on the list.
Maybe.
He's probably on the list since it is a Cincinnati podcast.
And I will let you know 3 of these guys are active, 2 are recently retired.
All right.
So the first guy is, in fact, Joey Votto.
Well,
I'll
before Dave says it, I'll say 3.
I'm going to go 1.
1.
Yep.
Next guy, Zach Greinke.
4.
Let's say 3.
3.
You listen to Votto ripping Mad Dog. So
Your next one, Buster Posey.
I'll go 2.
2.
that's where he's probably got a slot for me as well, too.
Andrew McCutchen.
Oh, 5.
Yeah.
5.
5.
So that means, Dad, your 4 is Robinson Cano.
Oh, well, he's not.
Crawley, he's your number 1.
That one didn't happen. Work.
So there we go.
I know-
There's our blind
I know you
rankings.
know.
Now you know. No for Robinson Cano. That was fun. I thought maybe you're going to pull out the mid-tier relievers for, relief bullpen for the Cincinnati Reds. We
Oh,
have a
yeah,
lot of,
the whole bullpen.
yeah, we'd have a lot of those in our 20 years.
Oh God.
Yes. So, I was looking at Twitter one night and Jumbo Diaz popped up on the feed. Jumbo. I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about Jumbo.
Well, he was on the riverfront.
Oh, that's where it
recently.
was. Yeah. So yeah, that's right. So Jumbo Diaz, like there's a name from the past. So yeah.
Yeah, on my Immaculate Grid the other day, they had Tigers Reds, and I pulled out Alfredo Simon.
Big
Big
pasta.
pasta.
Yeah, big pasta.
That's
That's you remember who he was traded for?
Suarez.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how we
Yeah.
got Ania. That's a good
Yep.
trade for us.
That was a good
Yep.
trade.
And then they cut him, and we re-signed him. He
Yep.
sucked.
Yeah. Yep. So that's good. All right. That looks like we're going to be wrapping up here about an hour and 15 minutes in. We appreciate you tuning in to the show. And once again, you can find all of the podcast on all the podcasting platforms, wherever you get your podcasting from, and also on YouTube. You know, we usually go live. So if you want to chime in and, you know, give us some live feedback, audience participation, we'd love to have that. So we'll be back on Sunday, I believe, and talking Reds. There'll be the Cubs, and then who do they have? They got the Cubs, and then don't they come home? Washington. So yeah. And hopefully we can talk first place Reds again, and update on Burrow and the injuries that the Bengals have there. One omission, we did not talk about the Trey Hendrickson extension, but we can maybe touch on that next week as well, and what that does for signing Burrow and T. Higgins.
And the Mixon.
Giving
up money too.
Right. So we can talk about that as we get closer to, I think it's like 40 days till the start of the NFL season, and we'll have obviously our predictions coming up here in a couple of weeks, and probably after Labor Day, we'll probably make our predictions for the Bengals for the season and where they're going to finish. So until then, this is Dave, and for Sam and Crawley, everybody have a wonderful evening. Take care.
See you.
Take care, everyone.